Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Pastors welcome new worship measures, but some of the island's religious leaders expressed pleasure with the government's move to increase the number of worshippers allowed in churches under the COVID-19 safety measures, which the country has been observing since last year, March. But the pastors admitted that the time now allotted for service on Sunday might pose some inconvenience to church members. The fact of the matter is that we have suffered a lot, not only the church but also schools, for a prolonged period since last year, and we quite understand because the positivity rate is coming down, but it is still high, Reverend Dr. Peter Gart, chairman of the Jamaica Umbrella Group of Churches, reported. I don't think people understand that when it comes to the church, there is a spiritual dimension to all of what is going on, and we believe that if many of our problems are going to be solved, then they are going to be done in a spiritual dimension, Reverend Gart added, noting that the church plays a significant role in the nation. The government had come under heavy flak from some church leaders after it maintained a no-movement orders for Sundays while lifting the measures on Mondays and Tuesdays. However, on Wednesday, the Office of the Prime Minister, OPM, issued a late evening release stating the amendments were made to the Disaster Risk Management Act as it recognizes the importance of in-person worship. According to the OPM, effective Saturday, September 25, 2021, the number of persons, including clergy and support personnel, who may be physically present at any time at a worship will be no more than 20, or where more than 20 can be accommodated, while maintaining the physical distancing requirement of a minimum of 6 feet between people, no more than 50 individuals. The office reminded that Sunday remains no movement days, but churchgoers will be allowed to move between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. and must have the Gazette authorization form issued by their church available for inspection by the security forces while traveling. The limits on the number of persons physically present will also apply to marriage ceremonies. However, for funeral services, where the mortal remains present, a maximum number of persons remains at 20, irrespective of the size of the place of worship, OPM said. Commenting on the time allowed for worship, Reverend Gart said, I think for the most part, there are a lot of services held earlier, and so the time is good for some churches, but we have been prepared to make adjustment to fit into the time. We are satisfied with it. A similar view was shared by Reverend Devon Dick of Boulevard Baptist Church in St. Andrew, who said he thanks God for the small mercies. It is an addition of 30 more people, so it's an improvement from what we had before there, and hopefully things will get better as time progresses, he said. He proposed, however, that Sunday should no longer be declared for lockdowns, as it is hard for church members who have to take public transportation. Business places should be closed instead, and the curfew remains at 3 p.m. With the no-movement days, church members of certain class are restricted from traveling. It is going to be very difficult for public transportation to and from church on a no-movement day. It will benefit those who have their own vehicle, he said. Pastor Valine Simmet of St. John's Green Acres Church of the Nazarene in St. Catherine, who also weighed in on the measure, said, I am thankful for it, and with the current discipline that the church is demonstrating, I hope that we will be favorable in the eyes of the government and the numbers will increase beyond 50. At the same time, Apostle Dr. Neva Campbell of Kingdom 180 International of Portmore, St. Catherine, reported that even though she had mixed feelings about the measures, they have to be followed in order to ensure the safety of congregants. Sunday being a no-movement day is of concern, but it is also for our congregants to be safe, so I will go along with whatever the government applied for our worship gathering, she said. Campbell pointed out that church members have become accustomed to online service, so it will be a bit difficult to encourage face-to-face worship. She also pointed to the cost of churches from accommodating only 50 worshippers. I don't have a problem being online. If we get the opportunity to go out full force, then we will, but it is not economically beneficial. In my mind, the opening of a big church, having all the lights and everything just for 50 people, you're paying all these overhead costs, and we can save that money to give to someone who needs help, she said. People need to be practical. I still can't hug you if I come to church, and I still can't fellowship the way I would want to. So the fact that I have to input more gadgets to have streaming and so on. It brings up the cost and we don't have the money. Streaming online allows a wider listenership and following because I wouldn't have people from Canada or I would not be able to accommodate people from St. Thomas because I would have to be in Portmore, she said. Police and citizens expressed shock over the killing of Detective Constable Paul Garden by a mentally ill man with a stone in Linstead on Friday morning.
Just the same way you build new school, you build new hospital, you are trying to do what? You have build new models. I'm a native and a citizen of this country. And truly, to the relevant authority, people with unsound mind should be on the street, moving up and down with disorder conduct, making unnecessary trouble, until it reaches things like this. I believe the relevant authority should find a place to put people like these in a safe keep so that we can prevent other issues like these to happen in the country. You understand? Can you imagine it could happen to me walking on the street and him lick me same way and kill me just like one kill the police officer? Just recently, 2 days ago, him knock a woman down Azan way there. The woman lick her down, the woman lost her, was a 7 months pregnant, lost her pregnancy.
So they must get help.
They must get help. And the honorable government of this country. Just the same way you build new school, you build new hospital, you are trying to do what? You have build new models.
The tool is that we need to embark on a serious mission to rid Linstead, in particular, of these persons said to be up on sound mind. Number of them, women stripping nude in the town, men carrying out violent acts, and a lot of them who are probably not violent, but still in need of mental health assistance. And it's a disease. We are imploring family members to treat it as a disease and assist members and don't just leave them, because if you treat on it like that, then
Immunize, save lives, JN urges members, employees. The Jamaica National Group revealed it is gearing up to embark on a comprehensive drive to achieve full immunization against COVID-19 among its more than 2,000 employees and by extension Jamaicans island-wide. Aptly called the Immunize Save Lives campaign, the multi-million-dollar drive is in support of the national COVID-19 vaccination program and will arm people with information so they can make the best decision to protect themselves and their families and place the country back on track to achieving its development goals. In pursuit of these objectives, JN said it will be engaging communities in conversations, establishing various vaccination sites at several of its locations across the country, and implementing exciting incentives for its employees and members who choose to protect themselves and others from the ravaging respiratory disease that has already killed more than 1,800 Jamaicans since March last year and infected more than 81,000. As an organization, our purpose goes beyond an opportunity to save in a saving account and obtain financial and other services, a company release quote JN Group Chief Executive Officer Earl Jarrett. Our true purpose has always been to enrich lives and enhance outcome so that together as one people, we can always be confident that we can achieve any possibility. The company noted that although Jamaica has had a fair supply of 3 different brands of vaccines for distribution, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson, many Jamaicans remain hesitant about the immunization due mainly to organized disinformation locally and globally, and that has distorted understanding of how the vaccine protects people. The Immunize Save Lives campaign will be centered on simplifying information for Jamaicans by using accessible language, visuals, and personas who will drive home the point. It will also seek to further expand physical access to the vaccines throughout partnership with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, JN stated. The project will be driven by the JN Group member Ombudsman Claudine Allen, who is also General Manager for the JN Foundation, the company added. The objective is to establish trust and understanding and to achieve that we will be relying on the personalities, situations, and language that are familiar to people and that they can identify with the release quotes. The foundation, JN explained, will rely on strategically designed mass education campaign that will engage the public and employees in several fora on the ground and on the airwaves through online discussion and other means to provide information and develop understanding and trust. There are also special groups who will be targeted for immunization, such as the elderly people, people with special needs, and transport operators. We will be using all possible avenues to reach people, including volunteers, community outlets, public transport, and other means, Allen emphasized, as we will be designing sites in a way so that they are accessible to various groups, even if we have to bring it to them. The JN Group network itself will be saturated with messages, as the group intentionally seeks to influence its employees, who will play an important role in carrying the JN message. We are going to be hosting interesting sensitization sessions with employees and also targeting specific groups to help to carry the message within the network and to the public, Allen disclosed. The organization said it will be dispensing $1 million in reward monthly over the next 3 months to 200 people who will be randomly selected each month from October to December to receive $5,000 on their JN money card for making the decision to get immunized. Saving lives isn't as difficult as we think. It's as simple as seeking and spreading facts about COVID-19, being serious about personal hygiene and washing our hands, or getting a little jab. You'll be amazed at how small personal actions can save thousands, Allen said. We urge everyone to play their part. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.